What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Stay Hot live stream. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by the greatest co-hosts of all time, and Matt and Theo. And we're here to recap Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, talk a little bit about the fantasy team, and talk a little bit about the current status of the Stay Hot locks. That's kind of the grasp of today's live stream. We'll, of course, run off as we see fit, answer some questions in the comments. But Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing today? This beautiful Tuesday afternoon.
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing great. I've been watching Jack Jones film today for the All-22, making the defensive player of the not only defensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year as PFF's highest graded defensive player, I do believe.
Just go for the MVP at this point, buddy.
MVP, I mean, yeah, might as well. Might as well. Any award that could you win both defensive player of the year and defensive rookie of the year if you
I think
like if Micah Parsons.
Well, what about what happened with Lawrence Taylor? Did he win both?
I don't know.
I kind of think that you would.
I kind of think let's say TJ Watt didn't go sicko mode and get 24 sacks last year or whatever it was, and Micah Parsons wins defense. That doesn't make him like who would have been even next in line for defensive rookie of the year.
Let's see. Rookie of the years. Jamar, Herbert, Kyler, Saquon. Saquon had 2,000 all-purpose yards, and he didn't win.
Really? Man.
Yeah, he led the league in scrimmage yards and had 15 touchdowns and did not win Offensive Player of the Year.
I believe that was the Michael Thomas year. Was that 2019?
That was 18.
Ooh. Who won Offensive Player of the Year in 2018? Do I know?
Offensive Player of the Year was also MVP Patrick Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, so this was okay. So they that was the last year that they didn't know how to give out Offensive Player of the Year because that's never ever happening again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Zeke Elliott was the rushing leader with 1,400 yards.
And that doesn't
Julio was the receiving leader with 1,600.
That doesn't really answer my question, but yes, I think that yes, you could win both, and Jack Jones will. We're about to find out. Talk about the Mbappe situation at PSG and wanting out. Mbappe, he is a great player, a key piece of France winning the World Cup. Last time there was a World Cup, I believe. A player as influential as him really had a lot of say in putting the PSG team together. And much like LeBron, MFU built the roster and now he wants out, makes you think. So he's coming to the Phoenix Rising, Mbappe to the Phoenix Rising. They will win the whatever MLS next year with Mbappe. So, yes.
Those are the takes.
Where do you rank Daniel Carlson? I think at this point, he's an undeniable top 50 player in the league at this point.
Undeniable, I'm afraid.
Undeniable.
He didn't hit a game
maybe
winner.
Even top 40.
All I'm saying, the Raiders did not trust him enough to hit
to kick the extra point.
To kick the extra point.
What do you guys think about that call? Going for two? I don't like it.
I don't love it.
I didn't mind it. Well, they would have needed a field goal to win the game, right?
Right.
If it was 30-30, right? Yeah. They would have needed a field goal to win the game.
Or it goes to overtime.
Well, because I'm here. My thought process is that if you get it, okay, now you've said 4 minutes left, give the ball to Patrick Mahomes, and he must score. It just seems like you're putting it in the wrong guy's hands. I'd rather honestly have it be a tie game and have a less aggressive Chiefs. That would be my thought process.
Well, I mean, either way, it's like, I don't know. I do think like if you
need a field goal to win either way. Eventually, they would have needed a field, even if it's.
I think if you get the ball back, like, or if you go for two and you don't get it, like the odds that you don't get the ball back are so damn low. And they did get the ball back, and they had like an opportunity to drive down the field and score.
With 4 minutes to go, it's not unbelievably low. I don't think at all.
Yeah.
You don't think the Chiefs could pick up a couple first downs? Like
they had all 3 timeouts at that point.
So a couple first downs?
I didn't hate the move. I didn't hate the move. At the end of the day, you need a field goal to win the game. And if they would have gotten it, they wouldn't have needed anything else to win the game. If they kick the field goal, they still need something to win the game. And since they missed the 2-point, they still nothing really changes what they need to win the game. They need to stop, I guess. But you would have needed that anyway. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I didn't hate the call. Because you need a field goal either way. Miss the 2 or kick the field goal, the extra point. You'll need 3 points at least to win. So nothing really changed, and they had a chance to take the lead. That's the way I was looking at it. I thought it was fine.
Like I said, I think if you score there, it's not like all of a sudden the game is over. Like you got what you needed, you know?
Right. The Chiefs still have the chance to go win.
If you like, if you're saying like, yeah, you're risking not tying it up, and even if you don't, then the Chiefs have the ball, 4 minutes to go, and they must score. And now they have to be as aggressive as humanly possible.
Well, if it was 30-30, they must score too.
That you would not be nearly as aggressive in a 30-30 game as you would be down 1.
I don't know. Andy Reid, he might be. Right? You need to stop either way. You need to stop the Chiefs either way. You need to stop them on the 4. They're either going to win it in regulation or they're going to get a shot in overtime.
Not necessarily. Maybe they don't get it in overtime. Those pesky overtime rules.
Those pesky overtimes. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a major problem with it. I think like most 4th down decisions, like going for it, make some sense in my head. The Staley one last week was
a bad one.
That one I thought was a little questionable, but like usually I'm pro going for it, and even like in the days since the Staley decision, I guess I'm less mad about that one than I was when it initially happened.
They did win the game.
Yeah, I wish they, as the analytics people they were in full force on Twitter defending that call. I don't care what they say, man. You got a team that likes to run the ball, and you can just give it back to them on like their own 20 with a minute to go. That's a huge difference between giving it back to them on like your 42 and say, yeah, you can just run or whatever. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. That one I thought was a little bit questionable, but at the end of the day, it's like get 2 yards. So I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. At the end of the day, like 4th down decisions, I think Stephen Ruiz, who we had on the pod, put it well today, where it's like, this is the one where the nerds are probably the most right. Like there are other battles to fight against weird analytics takes, like the guy who's pushing the Fred Warner sucks agenda. And don't pay any players that aren't quarterbacks agenda. Like we must stay focused on the real evils of
we must stay focused
going for it or whatever.
We must stay focused.
We must stay focused. So
going for it's not.
I didn't care.
Go for it if you want. Who cares? Kick onside kicks every time.
There's no trade talk with the Bills and Christian McCaffrey. That would be a lose-lose trade. I've seen a lot of speculation on the CMC to the Bills.
Why would the Bills do that?
Yeah, I mean,
if they traded kick-ass running back,
if they traded for
and
Christian
then not run the ball,
would they become like? How would that change?
Well, the problem is like a Christian McCaffrey trade is a little hard to think about because what exactly does that look like? how much of the cap do the Panthers take? Because the Bills cannot afford just Christian McCaffrey straight up for all the money that he has.
Right.
And then what's the compensation? If there's a world where the cap hit doesn't look as gross, or maybe the guaranteed money is gone after this season, and it's like the Bills don't have to worry about that so much like in the future, and it's like a fourth or a third round draft pick, and they're like, we want to add McCaffrey, who is a weapon. I don't hate that.
But the thing is, I would hate it for the Panthers to get rid of him for that, because I I think like you've said, Matt, in yesterday's podcast, the Panthers have one of the better rosters for a team that might contend for the number one overall pick. Like, it's not a horrible, awful, no, like terrible, no good, very bad situation for a new quarterback to land in right now. I don't think the line is better than it was last year. I think pretty easily. You've got some high profile skill position talent in Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, and you've got some nice pieces on the defense. Like, it's not just the cupboard is empty type of roster, right? This isn't like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it's as
the,
bad
the
as
2017 Browns.
right. It's
Like,
it's not like there's just no Pro Bowlers anywhere. There's a couple potential one, Moten, um, Moore, McCaffrey. Like, there's three on potential like Pro Bowlers on that offense. So, like, the thing that really could sink the franchise is, I mean, we've seen it with Fields, right? You want that rookie quarterback to go into a situation that isn't dog shit, right? Like, that has no weapons anywhere.
Ideally.
Fields, ideally. So, like, you might as well, like, no one's trading a first for McCaffrey. A second is like maybe, like, give a great receiving, like a check down option. Keep that weapon in your fold, because he's not like impactful enough that he's gonna like really change your draft position, right? It's not like keeping him is going to prevent them from tanking. So I would just keep like all this fire sale stuff that people are talking about. I don't think it makes much sense to me,
And there's a few
because
guys where I'm like, that would maybe make some sense. With McCaffrey, I think the reason why the Panthers would maybe consider doing it is like, if you are just sick of the cap hit of having that much money invested in your running back, and you're like, if we trade him now, maybe we can just take it now, like get off the cap hit this season. That's it. And we get the third, and okay, whatever. And it's just not a winning strategy. It's not what I would do, but I understand it. And then there's a few guys where it's like, if you wanted to trade Robbie Anderson right now, that makes some sense. Or if you wanted to trade, um, who else? I don't know. There's a few guys where it's like they're pushing 30. The Panthers have a very young roster, but there's a few guys where it's like you're pushing 30. We're going to be in a pretty serious rebuild. Maybe it's better to just get the flexibility and move them. But people are like, DJ Moore. The Panthers have to trade DJ Moore. They're missing a third, a sixth, and a seventh next year. So they must trade DJ Moore. And making any sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
to me, I would set my focus on, like, let's make sure, because they have their first round pick this year finally. Well, I guess they had it last year and they picked Icky, who didn't have a horrible game. He's turned it around, I guess, a little bit since the original few weeks in the preseason. But yeah, I think that it's important to make sure your quarterback, whoever the next guy is, whoever the next rookie is, lands in a decent situation. I think that's important, and a fire sale right now, like, would prevent that from happening. At least if you gave away your Pro Bowl level skill position players. So if the right deal came along for McCaffrey, sure. If you could get, if a bad team offered their second round pick, and you think like, oh, this might be a top 40 pick, like for a running back, like, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna trade him for like a third or so, like a running back getting up there on that roster, or a running back getting up there on age on that contract, is not going to demand like this crazy high draft pick. So you might as well just keep him, I think, at the point when it gets to the point of what I think his draft pick value is worth. So that's where I'm at with it.
I would agree. The other thing is that the Panthers general manager is going to be heading into year 3. An entire complete teardown for a year 3 general manager. I don't know if they survive that. And Tepper very much hates the idea of doing like a full rebuild. He thinks that they can be competitive every year. So I think it's just unlikely.
What are people talking about? Woj bomb
What did
shams
Woj
wrong.
say?
LaMelo has been diagnosed with a grade 2 left ankle sprain and is expected to miss time to start the regular season, but they're relieved it's not more severe. So
Okay.
they've entered the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes.
Oh,
That's
It's
can
one of
I,
my stupidest.
let me ask you guys about a different running back not named Christian McCaffrey.
Victor Wembanyama.
well, that's the only one I really want to talk about.
I mean, that's the
so.
only, yeah. Okay. Over the past, basically for this entire year, week 1, 5.7 yards per attempt. Week 3, 5 yards per attempt. Week 4, 5.1 yards per attempt. Last night, he had 7.3 yards per attempt.
We're talking about
Josh Jacobs has looked like an absolute monster so far this year after getting his 5th-year option declined. Do you think that the Raiders are going to try and bring him back, or do you think
I
that
would.
or do you think that he just tries, or do you think he's going to
Well, first of all, shout out me for telling everybody to pick him in fantasy.
I did.
Did you
I
say
have
that?
him in one of my
I did say
fantasy.
that with I put on my obnoxious fantasy creator voice, and I had like the monkeys spinning monkeys background noise, so it could get taken for satire, and it kind of was. But
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, like he got underrated after last year. People were done with him. People were
Yeah.
bored with him. Um, but after they cut Kenyon Drake, like he was in chair for he was, obviously in line
Yeah,
for
I
a
mean,
huge amount of like targets and
touches.
carries.
But like I'm more just impressed with like what he's done with these
Yeah,
touches
he's looked
cuz
great.
like
And coming out of
he hasn't
Bama,
looked he hasn't looked half this good his entire career. I don't think. Like his rookie year, he averaged 4.8 yards, and then since then he went 3.9, and then last year 4, like on the dot yards per. Like the level of efficiency that he has been running the football with has been kind of insane.
He's been playing some good
I mean, it
football
makes sense.
recently.
He was drafted in the exact same draft spot, round 1, pick 24, as Najee Harris out of Alabama. Najee has like this reputation. People have like this idea that Najee Harris is like one of the
I
best
think he's
running back
Derrick Henry
prospects.
because he's big and
Yeah,
from.
like Najee Harris has some real star power to him,
Yeah.
and some real and part of that is his personality. He's a fun guy, and he's charismatic.
I mean, he's a good athlete. Like
he's not though. He's not that good. He's not that
he's
fast.
he's
I don't
yeah,
think.
but he's big, strong. Like he's a solid athlete. He just doesn't have
Yeah.
he
I mean,
doesn't
he's a
have
good
he
athlete.
doesn't have great vision, and he doesn't have great breakaway speed. So
Yeah, he's slow, I think. But when you think of Josh, like if you were to ask people before this year, like Najee or Josh Jacobs, like who is the better running back prospect coming out, everyone would say not. Like 100% of people would say Najee, and 100% of people would say Najee has way more potential than when they were both like very physical, like running back prospects coming out, very like Josh Jacobs is a great receiving threat. Like people forget this coming out of Alabama is like people were really excited about what he could do catching the football as well. So I don't know. He's always had this kind of talent. He's always been super physical. Um, and this year, I mean, right? Yeah, Josh McDaniels coming from New England. I mean, New England these past couple years in the post Brady era has been famous for the running game. So I think the motivation of the contract situation and just kind of a new, maybe a newly reinvigorated or like kind of run oriented head coach a little bit has kind of spurred this renaissance to him, and he always had this kind of talent.
yeah.
I think people just forget. My main point is just kind of people forget how high he was drafted. So
I had higher hopes for him last year because I thought the offensive line was better last year, and then I'm like, I'm not really a fan of the offensive line as much this year, but he's looked really, really good.
No, he's looked really strong. He's been
So,
killing it in fantasy.
I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
he has been killing it in fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really all that
The
matters.
Raiders almost won last night, large
they
part
did.
because of him. Derek Carr. I think it's funny that like Derek Carr, Josh Allen, and Geno Smith all made some absolutely like nuts, like running up into the pocket, lofting that shit 50+ yards to like whoever. Like in Carr's case last night, it was Devontae. Allen had Gabe Davis. It's like they all just tried. They all hit this like exact same throw, basically, just like in the bucket,
Nuts.
like over one defender, two defenders, three defenders. But like, I was just like, damn, Derek really hitting throws like that.
Who would you rather have? ROS? Who's ROS? Ken Walker or
Uh,
Najee Harris?
ROS. Wait, is this a YouTube comment?
Yes. Oh, it's a running back. Why can't I think of who
ROS.
RS is? Ronnie
ROS.
Sterling.
Who the fuck is ROS?
I don't know either. I'd rather have Ken Walker than Najee Harris, though. I really would. I think Ken Walker was a better
Ooh.
prospect than Najee Harris coming out of college. That
I
was
was
my
I was a big Najee fan coming out of college. He just the vision has really been bad.
yeah. He's
Oh, Ramondre.
Oh, I've
oh,
never heard him called that in my life, but that makes
I
sense.
think
what is it?
I think it's. Oh wait, no, it's just rest of season.
Oh, okay.
Who'd rather have rest of season?
Oh, you're talking for fantasy, probably. Well, I don't know, but I'd rather have Ken Walker on my team, and I might rather have him for fantasy, honestly. If Rashad Penny's going to be injured, like Ken Walker
Yeah.
is him. Like he has had multiple like big highlight runs this year on a limited snap share. Penny got hurt in the last game, and he ripped off like a 70-yarder after hitting the cutback. He's Ken Walker has everything that you could possibly want to run. He's got real home run speed that Najee doesn't. I think his vision is better than Najee. He's smaller, but his contact balance is elite, and he's shiftier. Like he's just great. Like watching Ken Walker at Michigan State that year where he's a Heisman finalist was just crazy. Like
I know, dude.
he was unreal. The Michigan game is like just go watch that. It's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah, I tried to snag Ken Walker off waivers for us in the Stay Hot League, but he was already
I took
Man,
Rashad
he was
White
on
in your league.
waivers.
yeah.
Sad. I
Tough.
sold. I sold. I took Rashad White, but
It's
yeah.
okay.
Address Sauce Gardner having an overrated game against the Dolphins. Who has been? Oh, hey Daniel, an overrated game. I guess I didn't watch much of the. I guess I did watch the Jets offense versus the Dolphins defense, but it wasn't on all 22. I didn't really notice if Sauce Gardner was playing great or bad. So
Do you think Nick Bolton is a top 10 linebacker?
he's close. I love Nick Bolton.
He is good.
I need another Theo Packers rant. Well, I don't really have much more to say.
Yeah, he I think you got it all off your chest on Sunday's record.
Yeah.
Bro was not happy.
Did you watch any Fields? I did. Obviously, I tweeted that he only had 3 completions in the first half. Typical Fields game. He played probably the best half of football in a while, though, in the second half of that game. And unfortunately, he had that sick run that was called back from a block in the back. If that would have
that
counted
run
as a
was nice.
touchdown, that would have been on, Sports Center, top 10, highlight
Yeah.
everywhere. And people would have been a lot more excited
He
about his
had
performance.
there was he had one guy in his way, and I don't know if this was the guy that got blocked, but I didn't see anyone else there, and all I saw was him just make this one quick shake, and bro was like on the ground, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man.
it was promising. It was the first promising game from Fields in I think a minute. So, yeah, that was good to see for sure. If you're a Bears fan, if you're a Packers fan, I have no
Yeah, he's
desire to
yeah.
see him, be great. I'd rather him not be. But from a football fan perspective, it was good to see.
Yeah. Hey, I mean the Bears are not dead last in my power rankings anymore. So,
Oh,
Who
it's
is?
a reserved spot. I'm afraid.
for like 2 weeks in a row, it was the Texans.
Okay.
But after they managed to beat Jacksonville, I moved them up a spot.
I think my dead last team in power rankings would be Pittsburgh, and I haven't made them yet.
Ooh, I don't know if
Pittsburgh
I'm
is
ready. I don't know if I'm
ass.
ready to put them that low yet.
I don't know, man. I think I get it.
I put the Panthers last right now.
Yeah, I get that.
The Steelers are dead last in point differential. Like I don't think I saw some stat that their wide receivers like don't have any touchdowns this year.
Is that true?
I'll look that up right now.
After all that fantasy hype,
After all the which is why you don't
I
draft.
don't. There's no way that's true, right?
I don't think
I'm looking it up right now.
it might be true.
I can't imagine that's true.
I think it might be true. Maybe Deontay, or they don't have one since.
No, he's right. That's true. Their only receiving touchdowns have come one from Najee, one from Pat Fryermuth.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they don't score touchdowns, so that's bad. They allowed like one of the best offensive performances in NFL history to the Bills last week. Like they suck.
I guess.
They can't do
I don't know. I couldn't see. My thing is like most teams are getting the brakes beat off them by the Bills.
yeah, but then it's like there's
Well,
no
this was
level of bad you could play than if that Steelers game doesn't count as like not a good look, you know?
Right. Like the Bills beat the brakes off the Titans, obviously, but like a lot of that was
That's
pulling
what I'm
away
saying. Like
in the second half.
I expect the Bills to beat the brakes off of most teams.
But
So,
10
like,
yards per play
if
is the
if
sixth
you
most
get
in
if you
history.
get
That's
the
a first
dog
down
shit
every
kicked
time
out of
they
you by the
snap a ball.
Bills, if you get the dog shit kicked out of you by the Bills, it's like if you beat the Carolina Panthers, that doesn't move me that much to move you up in the power rankings. Like,
But
so
you
it
look at what
doesn't.
else has happened to the Steelers. Like
But yeah, I didn't realize that they have no. The receivers have no touchdowns.
the receivers have no touchdowns. They beat a mediocre Bengals team in overtime. They lost to New England. They lost to Cleveland. They lost to the New York Jets.
And then they got the absolute.
And then they had a
snot
historically
beat out of them.
bad performance against Buffalo. Like they're dead last. They're dead.
Damn,
Like their
these
season is
passing
just
stats.
over. Right? They're not doing
Listen to this pass. This is like their combined quarterback passing stat line. All right, between Trubisky and Pickett, 62% completion percentage, 1,100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Yeah, and I don't even think Pickett is like played quite as bad as the stat sheet indicates, but it's just that's such a moral like consolation prize moral.
He's gone 0 for 4 on touchdown to interceptions.
Yeah,
and
he's scored like.
I mean, he's run for 2 touchdowns.
But... Yeah, so I might have the Steelers dead last.
I can't blame you for that. Yeah,
they're really bad.
If they have one more, who do they play this week?
They play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe.
Oh, yeah, they they might be dead last.
And that's the thing. Like they play Tampa, Miami, Philly these next 3 weeks. So like when they're
that's a tough. That's a tough.
When they're 1-7 going into November, like
yeah,
like it's not unfair to say they're the worst.
Yeah.
Who's your offensive player of the year right now? Damn, chill.
Damn, Jay.
What did I say in the awards section? I said Saquon.
You said Saquon. I said Chubb, and I'm gonna stick with Chubb.
Yeah.
I like the graphic that we put out today. I thought it looked good.
I thought I looked weird. They like turned.
I thought I looked.
Am I the only?
Plus, it's not even true anymore. They did it a week late. All right. So
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but
like
it still
at this
says
point
quarter
after
season. It still
Jack
says
Jones is
quarter.
my defensive
That's
rookie
true.
of the year now. But,
Oh,
you know,
Now
what do
you
you
want to
do?
change some answers.
Now I want to change some answers. Jack Jones, after his pick
well, then I'm
on
going. If you're
draw,
going Jack Jones, I'm going Tariq Woolen.
that's fair. Really good back class this year.
It's
Damn.
bro.
I can't really remember a
really
year
good.
where there's been like right now I think
Sauce.
3 corners could win defensive rookie of the year right now. Woolen, Sauce, and Jack Jones have all been very nice. I think they all.
Who were all the corners drafted?
There was
NFL draft.
obviously Sauce and Stingley.
Yeah, Stingley all. It was like, what is it? All the rookie corners had a pick or like all the first round rookie corners had a pick last week.
Is that true?
I think so.
Yeah. There were those 2. There were obviously Jones. There was Jalen Amar Davis. There was
Stingley, Sauce, McDuffie.
Yes. There was Kyler Gordon, obviously.
Elam. And then but McDuffie
Elam played
was
well
hurt.
too. Elam had a pick too.
Elam, Sauce, and Stingley all had picks last week.
Yes. Yeah, and it wasn't even Who else was there? Booth, who we haven't seen. Roger McCreary, Marcus Jones, also on the page.
Is Booth hurt?
Yeah, Booth is hurt. Booth isn't getting a ton of playing time. But yeah.
And then there's Daxton Hill, but he's more like a slot corner safety.
Yes. He's kind of a safety. Who would you want Pittsburgh to take number 1 if they got it? I would understand. I would understand if they Josh Rosen to Kenny Pickett. Like Kenny Pickett was a 3rd round talent to me, and he's 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. Like if he goes through the rest of this year and
it doesn't
horrible,
get better, yeah.
Like I don't think they'll do it, but there's a chance like you'd rather have Bryce Young than Kenny Pickett. Like there's a real chance that's not a bad
Bryce Young moves me more as an athlete.
Yeah. I mean, not to say that will happen, and again, I do think there's been some encouraging things with Pickett, but like I wouldn't rule out quarterback if they got number 1.
Just entertain me here. Will Anderson, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward.
That's probably what would happen. That's
imagine that front. Just imagine it.
Yeah, I think, you just get talent and then you figure the rest out later. There's a chance that another Georgia defensive lineman, I mean, Trayvon Walker went number 1 last year, and there's a decent chance Jalen Carter is a better player than Trayvon Walker was. And if you want to keep Highsmith, if you have similar grades on Will Anderson and Jalen Carter, if you both think they're like generational defensive prospects, which they might be, you might take Jalen Carter, put him in the middle, and then keep Highsmith, who's doing a great job out on edge. You might stay that. But
fair.
If the Steelers get the number 1 overall pick, they might just trade out of it. Like if this is going to be regarded as a class with 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks that might be worth the number 1 overall pick, probably 2, in Stroud and Young, they probably trade out to and get multiple firsts from a more quarterback needy team than them. So that's what I would say is probably a trade out rather than taking a defensive tackle number 1 overall. But yeah.
Damn, I didn't really like this stretch for the. I mean, their whole schedule is.
They have the hardest remaining schedule left. Yeah.
Bucks, Dolphins, Eagles, Saints isn't like a cakewalk.
No.
Bengals, they already lost that game. Or no,
my
they
thoughts
won
on
that.
Ken
they
Walker
won
for the
that
rest
game.
of the season is he's going to do a good job. So stop asking.
Lost to the Browns. 8. You know what revelation I came to this weekend?
What
Pissed me
revelation?
off. The Super Bowl will never fall on my birthday again
Really?
because of the extra game. It used to be the first Sunday in February. It is now the second Sunday in February.
That is unfortunate.
So the Browns can never win the Super Bowl on my birthday.
Well, I
Well,
would
that
be
was
glad that I wouldn't want the Super Bowl to fall on my birthday because you could never
I
have a
like it.
party ever.
No, I
Everyone would have plans.
no, I just throw a Super Bowl party and it's also my birthday party. I've done it
Well,
before.
well, now you can
that's
have two
true.
parties.
I can have two parties, but Matt can attest. I've done the Super Bowl birthday mashup party. I
Yeah.
did it on my 18th. The Super
Yeah, on
Bowl
your
fell on my
18th?
birthday,
It was
and the next
Rams
one.
Patriots. It was a horrible Super Bowl.
It's terrible.
But it was a great birthday. You know?
Your mom made. Did she make them or she got them? I don't know. There were those big cookies.
Yeah, we had my mom's friend does these like custom cookies like with designs, and she did like Cleveland Browns cookies.
This is like Cooper Cup recalling the play and the coverage and whatnot. I remember that very specifically. The big cookies.
The big cookies was like Josh Cribbs and Josh Gordon.
Yes, you had big Josh Cribbs cookies in 2018 or not 2018. What
it
what
was
year was that?
29. It would have been 2019, right? Yeah, it
Your
was my
birthday.
18th birthday. So 2019. I thought, and I was hoping the Browns would go to the Super Bowl.
In 2018, not quite.
Not quite. not quite.
A bit outside.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I think your birthday falling on any kind of big event is always kind of like it gets overshadowed. I guess Matt, you would have
guess.
better opinions on this than me since your birthday is July 4th. Like
It does kind of suck.
yeah.
You know, it's
but
cool
okay, your
because
birthday
it's like
falls on 4th of July every year. My
Yeah.
birthday would fall on the
Yeah.
Super Bowl every 7 years.
You're not
Right.
you know,
So
you're not
every
missing
7
much.
years I get to like plan this like extravagant event, but now I don't get to because the NFL decided that it wanted an extra game in the season.
You can still
Fuck
plan
you,
the
NFL.
extravagant event. You can have a baller Super Bowl party. You know?
Yeah, but
You don't need it. You can have cake and you can have
I don't even eat cake. I eat apple pie.
I
Theo
think
had no
it
idea how
kind
to
of
respond to that.
talk about Albert Pujols. I'm gonna lose my mind. He's not even in the league anymore. All right.
Who's Albert Pujols?
Who's Albert Pujols? You know who Albert Pujols is. We've been over this on the podcast.
Have we?
Yes, you know who Albert Pujols
I
is.
assume he's a baseball player.
He is.
Who
Do you
does he
know
play for?
what accomplishment he has recently
Ooh,
done?
I mean,
like an all-time. He's all over Twitter when he did it.
I mean, the only options for, I feel like like major accomplishments that people would be talking about in baseball would be like home runs or like strikeouts or something with pitching.
Well, he's not a pitcher.
Okay, so what is it like? But I thought it was who was the other guy going? It was going for most home
Who
runs.
was
in
the
a
other
season,
guy going
right?
for home runs? That literally
That's a
every
good
ESPN would
question.
Cut to it every couple minutes, and it was who was it? It's the most famous baseball player.
Is he the most famous? Aaron Judge. It's Aaron Judge.
Yeah, there you go.
Aaron
Pujols
Judge.
hit 700 home runs. He plays for the.
Oh, so it's most home runs ever then.
No, it's like I don't know what the football equivalent would be if someone hit 100
like in a certain
sacks
time
in their
frame.
careers or something. Like in their career, like there's a very short list of players who have hit 700 home runs.
Okay.
Very, very
Okay.
short.
Gotcha.
And he hit 700 home runs, and then he lost to the Phillies, and then he retired.
Oh.
But shout out to him for
Congrats on the retirement, Albert.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
500
Yeah.
passing touchdowns.
500.
It's an even bigger deal than that because I think Rodgers just hit 500 passing touchdowns, and baseball cares about their counting stats way more. That's probably the equivalent, but like Rodgers hit 500 touchdowns, and people would just be like,
Let me
Well,
see.
he only has one ring, so
Passing
no one
touchdowns,
cares.
all-time career leader. There are only 4 quarterbacks with 500 passing touchdowns ever.
One of them's Rodgers, right? He just hit that.
No, Rodgers
What?
is a ways away.
Really? I thought he just
Yeah.
hit 500 something.
Nah, he's at 457.
Oh,
He maybe could get it at the end of this year, but it'd be a
he has not thrown
it,
43 touchdowns.
it's a reach. It's a reach for sure, but like it's possible. You know who like you should be able to easily figure out who all 4 of them are.
With 500 passing touchdowns,
Yeah.
well, Brady, Peyton,
Yeah.
Breeze,
Yeah.
um,
Come on.
Marino,
This is your guy.
Favre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Favre. Marino, I was
Favre.
shocked.
Favre
Marino's top
my
10.
guy.
He is at 420. But yeah, it's Favre is 508, Manning 539, Breeze 571, and then Tom Brady 631 passing touchdowns in his career.
Oh, Rodgers hit it 500 plus playoffs. Okay.
Oh,
I knew I
with
saw
playoffs.
that somewhere.
Okay, with playoffs.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking regular season, but I guess if you include playoffs.
Talk about the Panthers' future head coach Ken Dorsey. Well, he was with the Panthers.
I'm not moved by any of the head coaching possibilities yet.
Don't worry, Brian Flores will be great.
Steve Wilkes is the interim. Was he the Cardinals head coach during the Rosen era, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a Carolina. He's very much a Carolina guy, and he was defensive coordinator for a while after McDermott, or maybe they lost a couple defensive coordinators in a row. Maybe he was
coordinator
the second one. So
for Carolina in 2017. Head coach for the Cardinals in 2018. They went 3-13.
Who do the Panthers play next week? Because they'll win that game.
Well, see, this is the thing. I was thinking about this. I feel like I remember it being someone they're like not going to beat.
Well, they will because it's an interim head coach, and the interim head coach always, without fail, wins their first game.
I really think it's just the guys.
It's
like
the Rams.
They just get.
They can win that game.
They can.
Oh, they're beating the Rams.
That's a winnable game.
The Rams.
That's a very winnable
The Rams
game.
are going to spiral after this. Steve Wilkes is beating the Rams. They're going to rally. The Rams are not a hard team to beat, sadly.
We're not getting a quarterback ever.
Talk about Jack Jones from the Packs. Boy, do I have news for you. Wait till my all 22 tomorrow.
Wait till Theo's all 22 tomorrow.
Why the hell do we have 2 losing teams for Thursday Night Football this week? Boy, do I have news about Thursday Night Football for you.
It's gonna suck ass.
It's never good.
I just want to see the entire Thursday Night Football schedule.
The best has already passed us with Chiefs, Chargers, and Bills, Rams, and all that.
The entire Thursday night schedule. So we had Chargers, Chiefs. That was the goated one. Then we had Steelers, Browns, the other goated one. Dolphins, Bengals. Then we had the atrocity that was Colts, Broncos. Now we have Commanders, Bears. Then after that, we have Saints, Cardinals. That's not too awful, but then we have Ravens, Bucks. That could be a good one.
That's a good one.
I like that. Then we have Eagles, Texans. Good God.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah.
That's I'm already planning out my lock for that week. Then we have Falcons, Panthers. That's the game of the year.
Oh yeah.
Titans, Packers.
I'll be there.
Yes, you will.
Game. Yes, sir.
Let us know how the environment is.
I'll tell you right now how the environment at Lambeau is going to be. I'm going to get told to sit down by a 90-year-old who's had it since 1947. I'm going to be told to sit down by that guy, and then they're going to try to do the wave, and Aaron Rodgers is going to criticize us in the post-game presser, and then
No one's
But
gonna have any fun.
no one's gonna have any fun.
No
Lambeau's
fun,
awesome.
sir.
Like Lambeau rules. Like
Okay,
especially if it's
let me ask you guys a question. So I'm going to Miami, Florida, the weekend
again.
like the weekend of Thanks. It's for my friend's birthday.
Okay,
She wants to have her birthday in Miami, so
I think I know which friend of yours would want.
you do know which,
I do know. Okay.
yeah. But so we're going to Miami, Florida for like that weekend, like right after Thanksgiving. So I will be in Miami. Should I go to a Dolphins
Sorry,
game?
we're
on
going to
November
Miami, Florida the weekend after Thanksgiving. It's just a funny one, man. That's nothing wrong with that. I just Thanksgiving to
I
Miami,
mean,
Florida.
her birthday's the 22nd, and she wanted to go to. So we're like, that's the closest.
Yeah, no.
That's my.
So
Wait, no, it's not. Never mind. Anyway,
so November 27th, I could go to 1:00 Dolphins
versus.
Texans.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Save
The
your
game that I
hundreds
was
of
considering
dollars.
going to, that's not either of my teams,
Let me
was
see how
Tennessee
much.
Bama. But then Tennessee Bama is going to be like the biggest game of the year for those two teams, and it's going to cost like $400. So I can't
Yeah,
go.
let me see. Let me see how good. Let me see if I can get like good seats.
You won't be. The Dolphins are good right now. You're not going to just be able to waltz into that stadium.
I can get like
You think you own the place?
I can
What
get
the-
40-yard line, like first section for under 200.
That's still 200. Like that's
I can
still
get
like
30.
200. You know, like
I
to
can
see
get
the
20.
Dolphins
I
and
can
the
get the
Texans.
20-yard line for 120.
Plus, is it Sunday?
Yeah,
Well, you'll have to watch the game so you have things
that's
to talk
true.
about on the podcast. You know,
That's true. Yeah, I'll just get back. I'm trying to plan my flight. So I'm like, should I go to a Dolphins game and fly out later, or no? Because then I'd probably have to try and find a direct flight back to Cincinnati so I could get back in time for the podcast.
Be brutal.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I guess
But
I'll fly out Sunday on 6 a.m. then.
the a Packer fan, the old people will get security involved if you try to have fun at Lambeau. Yes, it's not the youngest, like it's not the student section at ASU or anywhere else for that matter. All right, they're a little old. They can be a little cranky. They're not always the loudest, but it is a beautiful, beautiful like venue, and the bowl is good, and they're all friendly usually. Like they won't actually call security on you. Like they're usually like pretty friendly, especially like in a tailgating environment. I really do love going to see games at Lambeau, and I haven't been since I was like 17. But yeah, it's not the most lively audience.
$200 for a snooze fest game that your team is not playing in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Bengals offensive linemen were all rated 65 plus by PFF and Pass Pro against the Ravens. Jono Williams rated 80.5 in true pass sets. Volston, the rookie, graded 72 in Pass Pro. Thoughts? You know, you can throw darts at a dartboard, you know, like 80.
First of all, like a 65 grade in Pass Pro is not that good. People like bro's saying
80.5.
yeah, but he said all of them rated 65 plus. I'm like, if you're going 66, like
Yeah,
not moved. Sorry.
not that elite of a game. I'm
LaFleur
afraid.
is always cheerleading on the sideline trying to get fans involved. Yes, there's always LaFleur like doing the hype up thing. I don't think Rodgers has ever had to do the like calm down crowd thing at Lambeau. They're just dying to be dead silent on offense. That's for sure.
They got their binoculars out. They're watching like intently.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. What else? One other topic I want to talk about and some dialogue that I've had. I saw yesterday. Is Travis Kelce the greatest tight end of all time?
No, but he's in a shoe-in Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he better than
He is.
Gronkowski all time? Is a
Well,
question
Gronk
that's
might be the
very
best tight end
interesting.
of all time. So
Travis Kelsey, I think. Here's I think Gronk. Like I would take Pete Gronk over Pete Kelsey. I would, but I think Gronk was like 32 when he retired. Kelsey is
Kelsey is starting to get to the
30.
point where it's like maybe you take the longevity.
Yes,
damn,
give
that's
you
kind
that.
of where I'm at with Kelsey.
Gonzalez has 15,000 receiving yards.
It's not even the receiving yards that get me because like anyone can play forever and rack up receiving or rushing yards. It's
But
like
that's
the
part
Pro
of
Bowls
it.
and the All Pros.
Part
Yes.
of being an all-time great is longevity.
It is.
But when we're talking about longevity, we don't mean just like playing for. You can get more receiving yards just for playing for a long time and being good enough to start. If you're talking about if you were going to like take one of them for their entire career, you'd care more about how many years were they like a Pro
Their
Bowl or an
peak.
All Pro level player.
Okay.
Yes. Kelsey is on pace to make he's a shoo-in for his 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th straight Pro Bowl. He's currently leading the league in touchdowns right now after
And he
his
will
4
probably
touchdown performance.
be first team all pro.
Most likely, yes. I can't think of any tight end
He
that's had a better
he
season.
leads the league in receiving touchdowns right now.
Yes.
So
Or last night.
he did have 4 last night.
He should be good. And he always goes low in fantasy. This is the cheat code every year. End of the first, take Travis
Yeah.
Kelsey.
That not exactly what we did, or did we?
I know.
Get
I'm just
Andrews
saying
in
it's like
there?
if
Or
he
no,
was
we
like
got
the
Kelsey.
number
I
one
can't remember.
overall pick, you could totally argue it, man. He's no you the gap between him and the 12th best tight end is ridiculous for fantasy. So
Yes.
Tony Gonzalez.
Gonzalez did
Gonzalez had 14 Pro Bowls and 6 All Pros.
right.
Gonzalez
And this is
tough
why
to catch. Yeah.
he's not ever like
damn.
it's just the gap to be the best tight end of all time is insane, but he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, no question.
Yeah, I would say he's already like he
Yes,
may
he
have
could retire
passed up
today.
like Antonio Gates
Oh, yeah.
already. I'd say that's very fair to say. Is he's like right now at like Gates level, and Gates is top 10 of all time in terms of tight ends. Gronk is tough to measure just because of how injury plagued his career was, and it was cut a little bit short. But Pete Gronk, I'm taking over Pete Kelsey, sadly. But
Yeah.
Kelsey's getting on a very, 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 very short list of tight ends all time, especially when, with Kittle falling off in terms of production, and Kittle's not gonna be a Hall of Famer at all. Like Kelsey's gonna be kind of head and shoulders above all the other tight ends from the era since Gronk kind of fell off a little bit. So, yeah. Isn't it crazy that Mahomes could also retire today and be a Hall of Famer? Yeah, I would vote him into the Hall of Fame if he retired.
Oh, pretty
today.
easily.
So that is pretty crazy. He's goated, sadly. So
Sadly.
But yeah, what was the other thing I wanted to say? There was another talking point that I wanted to talk about. But I can't remember what it was. It wasn't the pass interference. I don't remember.
What was it? The defensive holding on the field goal.
No,
In
the
this
refs
field
were
goal?
horrible last night. I think we all know. But
What was it? Devontae Adams shoving the.
Oh yeah, I think it may have been.
Listen, I don't care if he gets suspended, but like if he's suspended longer than Watson, that's fucked up.
Well,
They're not
he's
going to
get
suspend him
suspended
12 games.
Yeah, he's not going to get suspended for the rest of the year.
It'd be
No.
kind of hilarious. He's out for the year.
That'd be fucked.
I think well, the cameraman filed a police report, and some people were like, "Oh, cameraman, over dramatic." Look, as soon as that happened, a lawyer called the cameraman and said, "If you do these things, you may be awarded a 6-figure, there's a chance."
A lot of money.
A lot of money. You would file
You
that
can-
police report too.
In a
And no,
heartbeat.
if he hadn't filed it, then people on the internet would be like, he fumbled the bag.
Fumbled the
Why wouldn't
bag.
I? If it was me,
Me personally,
yeah,
That's,
that's
well,
it.
that's
So
the thing. When it
I
got
wouldn't
when
let that
it
slide.
happened last night, people were like, "Oh, he's gonna get a bag," and then he filed a police report this morning. People were like, "What a bitch." He's doing what he has to do, you know. And I
Yeah.
love the
dog eats
filing,
dog
too.
world out there, man.
He was like, the verbiage was like, the cameraman sustained non-life-threatening injury.
see, that's got me thinking like,
Like, oh, thank goodness. I was so worried. He's doing everything right, though.
Me personally, I would have fought him. Imagine you just like cameraman just gets up, starts throwing hands with Devontae.
how much money would it take for you to be like, yeah, I got to file. Sorry, Devontae.
Any, like,
Um,
if I was gonna get like $5,000,
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not that it's like $10,000. I'm like, sorry, dude, you'll be
thinking of
fine.
four
Nothing's gonna
figures,
happen
I'm
to
starting
you.
to think-
yeah,
I'm
like I'm
starting to
taking
think
that
about it.
pretty easily. Dude's
Um,
like, well, it's like, oh, it's $100,000, bro. I take it for like 3.
yeah, no, like the cost of hiring a lawyer and going through all that is, you know, maybe I'd need something like, you know,
Yeah.
in the 5.
That's the thing is like the
range,
lawyer's
but-
gonna get you enough so that you can pay him too.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna that's probably gonna be at least $10,000 for him. Probably like at least, I think. So yeah, I would do the same thing, you know, like
Pocket change. Devontae can
Devontae
afford it.
Devontae fumbled the apology too. Did you see what he said? He was like, "I'm sorry that he ran."
You sent out a tweet today. I assume it was copy paste.
That's how I learned about it. I was reading this. I'm like, what the hell is Theo talking about? I'm like, oh, he must be.
That must be word for word, bar for bar what Devontae said.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
that's
I was
what I
just copy
assumed.
pasted it because I thought it was funny. But both in the tweet and in the post game like press conference, he said when he ran in front of me as I exited, he said that in the tweet. He like made it very clear, like he ran right in front. He's like he shouldn't have run right in front of me, but I'm sorry anyway. It was not a good apology.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was just a very funny. And then we got
My
Chivo
apologies,
42.
man. Hope you see this. You're telling me he couldn't just find the guy and like give
I
him
don't
a
know.
hug?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I hope
It
you
was-
see this as such a funny way.
He might not. He might just be in the void.
It's like those like it's like hope she sees this, bro.
I love Jonathan, aka Chivu's 42's reply. It's all good, but for compensation, we can arrange something for my college tuition. I'll be in touch. And then the reply
And then there's
is,
someone reply.
the
You
reply
have
is, you have
70,000
tweets in 2
You're not
years.
going to college.
And 40,000 of those 70,000 tweets are below mine, asking to review some Cowboys player.
Talk about the
Review
Dallas
that.
Cowboys, please. Talk about Micah Parsons.
Tyler Smith. Speaking of Cowboys players, Tyler Smith, I might have to snatch my Rookie of the Year award away from him. Aaron Donald. They put a Aaron Donald on him like as an edge rusher, and just had Aaron Donald like run the arc around Tyler Smith, and I think he got like 2 or 3 sacks off. Doing that. That was so mean. Like they're like, yeah, we're just gonna put Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
on
that's
him.
not
Sorry.
fair though.
He's an
Like
edge
you
rusher
put
today.
Aaron Donald on like most rookie offensive linemen. That's a bloodbath.
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah, cooked my idol Chivu, but yeah. Would the wonderful members of Stay Hot Podcast please discuss or review Jackson State quarterback Shedeur Sanders?
Isn't that like the school that
That's Dion's school.
Dion school? Yeah.
I don't know anything. Maybe if he's a draft prospect, yes.
Wait.
eventually. But if he's
Is
not,
his son the quarterback?
oh, could be.
If so,
Hold
that's
on.
hilarious. That's awesome.
His
I love
son
it.
is the quarterback of the college that he coaches.
Jackson
Hold on.
State is like it's like a DLC college team or something. It's like a weird, like
He's been.
Isn't-
I mean, they've been winning a bunch of games, haven't they?
They have been. It's like not a part of the original game. It's like a bonus that you pay extra for. I don't know what what to think about them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Dion's kid.
Yeah. Sauce Gardner,
That's so
Rookie of the
fucking
Year.
funny.
Sauce sadly has no argument over Jack Jones for Rookie of the Year. Sadly,
No argument over
Who's taller?
the GOAT. Who's taller?
Sauce, and
You
he's
want to
still
talk,
not.
you want
as
to talk about
good,
height?
so,
Let's talk
like,
about Tariq Woolen, the GOAT.
yeah.
Tariq Woolen got you beat. Height, speed, hands.
ASU, no, ASU on top. Benjamin scored a touchdown this week too. I saw it
did.
happen with my own two eyes.
How'd that make you
Ayuk-
feel, Theo?
I think Ayuk played a good game. Arizona State takeover, man. We're hiring Matt Rule, and we're turning into a powerhouse. ASU on top soon. It's starting now.
It'd be so funny if you guys did hire Matt Rule. He should. He's not a bad college.
He's not a
coach.
bad college. I mean, he's turned around like multiple college programs, so like, I wouldn't be like pissed off if they hired Matt Rule as one of the best college coaches of the last several years. But it would be hilarious. It would be absolutely hilarious to go from Herm Edwards to Matt Rule, just a completely cursed coaching.
What did Cam Hayward tweet?
Cam Hayward tweeted some anti-Tomlin propaganda. He like retweeted like a tweet calling Tomlin a fraud. And then
Is
he
it still
deleted it
up?
and he
Oh,
said
it's
like,
up.
"My bad, y'all. That was a butt retweet," which is probably true, but it was still funny when it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, he put out an apology. He was like, "Let me be clear."
Oh, let me be clear.
I do have a hard time seeing him just like
Yeah, Cam Hayward
Yeah.
is like the nicest guy.
Cam Hayward would. truly
Isn't
be
he's like nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year every year.
Yeah,
he's like this vet. He's been on that
in
team
this-
forever.
He's been around the Steelers for like a decade at this
His
point.
entire
But
career.
just, like start slandering. It would be strange, but when it happened, it was because the other part two of that tweet was Cam Hayward praise, and that's what made it confusing because there was reason for Cam Hayward to retweet that, and it was like the second
Yeah.
part of it was Cam Hayward was really showing a lot of heart out there. So people were like, well, maybe he was just retweeting it for the Cam Hayward part.
No, like honestly, he could have possibly seen like, he's like Cam Hayward running 30 yards downfield again to make tackles that the linebackers wouldn't make.
But that's the thing. You don't read from the bottom up. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like that doesn't make he would have had to have read through the Tomlin slander part.
Unless his eyes just gravitated towards his name.
But there's still like, are you not curious to what the rest of the tweets?
If you're gonna retweet it as an NFL player, you probably
Yeah,
read
you
the
gotta-
whole
you gotta-
tweet. No.
Unless it was his media team.
It wasn't his. He runs his own Twitter. You can tell by the way it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do believe he accidentally retweeted it. It was just a very jarring thing to see Cam Hayward tweet this, and then. I thought about you, Blaiden, because when I asked like how you never see any baseball tweets, you told me one time that you just don't, your eyes like glaze over any mention of baseball is
Yeah.
what you claimed one time. And I'm like, well, maybe Cam Hayward
His eyes just glazed over the
eyes just,
entire
like,
tweet.
didn't.
He's such a Tomlin fan that he just can't even see Tomlin hate.
Yeah,
He's blind to it. So if I bought a $700 guitar, would you consider that a W purchase?
I don't know what kind of guitar.
No, I would consider it an L purchase,
L.
Bladen.
It just came out like today.
Then
Like,
get
was
it.
just
Get it if you
released.
want it.
brand
If
is
you got the money for it,
It's
why not?
it's Ibanez. It's all my guitars are Ibanez guitars, but it's a specialty guitar. Like it's a custom guitar for this guitars for the band Polyphia. It's a nylon acoustic guitar. It looks.
I'll
like,
be real with you. I don't know anything about guitars. I don't know anything
It
about
looks
Ibanez.
sick. It looks sick, and that's all I care about with guitars. And I'm like, does it look sick?
That's based. I
If
think.
it looks, that's just, it was like people are like, yeah, but what if it doesn't sound good? I'm like, strings, amp. That's like unless it's it is an acoustic though, so like the wood kind of matters. But like for electrics, like if it's if it's if it looks cool, I'm buying it. If
Yeah,
it
I
looks
mean, I
cool and
don't
it's
know.
under 1,000, like
I don't know how much a guitar usually goes for the brand, so I can't really say.
new guitar, the the one that I usually post with the black one with the gold trim, that was about 750.
Well, I'm looking at
Still
I'm on
right
board,
here.
but I'm like
Well,
Theo.
I'm
I
looking
don't
at
know.
these Guitar Center guitars, and these are all like $300.
Yeah, but those are trash and they look like shit.
All right.
You haven't even seen them.
I have. I went to Guitar Center like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I don't
I
know.
Maybe
will say
Theo's looking at
the
different
cooler
ones.
ones are much more expensive.
Yeah, the ones that look good, like you're paying 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, if
But
you
like
can
if
throw,
it's under 1,000 and it looks good, I'm like shit, man. I don't
you
know.
might as
I
well.
don't really have storage for it. My bedroom's kind of small, so maybe I'll wait.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it
Some
looks sick.
guitar head out there would have to tell me if that's good or bad. I don't see the issue with it if you have the money and you want a new guitar.
I just think
It's
it
just
looks
black
sick.
though, right? Is it just black?
That's the thing is like I want all my guitars to look different. And
Well,
like
it
I have
looks
a black
similar to
one.
the other.
I have a black one that's a semi-hollow with gold trim. I have a red one that's more of a strat shape, and then I have my blue acoustic. So I'm like, the next guitar that I should get should be like a cream color. I think
And this one's not a cream color.
it's not, sadly.
So then I wouldn't get it. That's
Yeah.
my hot take of the day.
Breaks
I
my
wouldn't
heart.
get it either. I would
Should
buy
you
a
get it?
green one.
No.
I should you said I should get green.
Yeah, or orange for the Browns. You should get a Browns.
An
theme
orange guitar
guitar.
would be kind of sick, actually. I would get a green guitar. Green guitars kind of there's like these like light green Jazz Masters that look pretty cool.
What's the lore on Matt being a Panthers fan with a New York accent? Well,
What?
he doesn't.
I'm walking here like
Straight
Hey,
out of
I'm walking.
what's the side talk? Straight out of side talk. I'm walking here. Hey, look at me! I'm Matthew Spun.
out.
Man, these fucking Panthers are gonna be the death of me. I swear to fucking God. I've been watching this team for 10 years, and they ain't. We gotta bring back Cam immediately. That's my Matthew impression.
It sounds just like me.
Just like you. Blaiden's
What do we
I don't
got
know.
to
I guess
lose?
I've never heard anyone say I have a New York accent, but
You don't.
I'm recording an 8.5 minute song tomorrow. Book some studio time.
where's the
How long does
studio?
that take you in the studio to record in 8 minutes?
It shouldn't take too long. We've already recorded a demo once, so we already kind of know how the song's gonna go. It's not like we're trying to figure out the song a ton more, so it shouldn't take more than like 2 or 3 hours.
That's fair. I've been in my dad is in a band, so I've spent some time in studios. So yeah.
Yeah. I'll
They usually spend like a day in there, but they're usually
yeah, but
they have
you're
more
also
instruments than you do, though. I think.
well,
in the
yeah.
band.
Well, this song is mostly like it's 2 guitars, and then we might throw a bass line in, and
Any
then
drums?
no drums. This is a very like we played it for so it's me and the rhythm guitarist in my band, and we played it for his dad, and he described it as rock poetry.
So no drums.
No drums.
Okay.
No drums.
No drums.
We're excited though. We think it's a great song. Projected song of the year, I fear.
Beating out Hollow Body.
Oh, easily. I like legit I think like guitar wise, like musically, this is my best work. So I'm not singing on it. It's like all spoken word and Jake's doing it. So he has a better spoken like poet voice than I do.
I have a terrible poet voice.
mid
But you know
poet
that
voice.
about me, Blaine.
Yeah. Speech class. We didn't do
Two
shit in that
roads
class.
divide in a yellow wood, or divulge. What is it? Two roads, something in a yellow wood. I took the road less traveled by.
I took the road.
That's. I'm fucking it up. I'm paraphrasing.
Who's your
Robert Frost
Who's
here.
your MVP? The Nickelodeon valuable player?
Oh
There we
man.
go.
Who's
See
gonna
ya.
be Who's gonna be the Amazon Prime valuable player?
Yes.
I was like, Jay, please.
Jay
Blaiden's
is
a
gone. We got him.
Blaiden's a
We got him up
system
out of here.
musician.
We got him up
I
out of
really
here.
am a system musician, I fear.
This, who is
Someone said I'm a
who's the
system
ringleader
musician.
then?
No, it's in my band. I mean, they all kind of say I'm the front man.
You're the lead singer, right?
It depends on the song, but most songs, yeah. But like, we're gonna do a cover of Jailhouse Rock. I can't sing that, so I do too much of like a soft. My voice is too like soft when I sing to do that. I feel like.
Yeah, I couldn't do a good Jailhouse Rock either. My voice isn't. You need some grit in it.
You need you need some grit. You
need a little bit of grit. You need a little bit of gravel.
You guys have no grit.
I don't have any dog in me in terms of
You need that
singing.
dog in you to.
I don't have any gravel. I don't have any of that. But yes.
Yeah, we're doing. I don't know. We have like a list of songs that we've come up with to cover this. Like this year, we'll probably do some Imagine Dragons.
Why?
We'll do like Demons. That's like a chill, I guess.
Which one?
Demons.
Oh, Demons.
Yeah. We're doing Alice in Chains. We're doing.
I don't know much Alice in Chains.
Several Pink Floyd, several Led Zeppelin. We might do Witchy Woman by the Eagles.
Okay, that one's solid. What's your favorite Led Zeppelin song?
Dazed and Confused.
All right, fair enough. That's pretty good.
It's a great song.
Yeah. Anyway,
Tangerine's pretty good too.
I saw a question. When will we do our NBA predictions? That'll be, I think, coming up on the next Tuesday or Thursday. Jesus, episode.
Not like this week, but next week, right? Or is it this week?
I think this week.
I think this week because it's. I don't think we've got 3 weeks.
But are we having? Is it just going to be us, or are we having a guest on? I don't know if we.
I don't know.
All right.
We could have a guest on. We need to have one on.
Well, I just thought that was the plan.
Okay,
was to bring
somebody.
on.
We'll figure something out.
We'll
figure something out, but the predictions are soon. I gotta make my predict. I don't have any thoughts, so I'll spend.
I will probably do
fix
that tonight or tomorrow.
I have some thoughts. The only 2 things you need to look at is how close are they to the 2020 Phoenix Suns, and that's how you know if they're going to be good. That's how
I think. My only I'm trying to figure out how high to be on the Cleveland Cavaliers right now.
I think they're pretty close to the 2020 Phoenix Suns. I think they're built
they're really good.
Sunsy.
Like
they don't have a veteran. They don't have a Chris Paul though. That's their.
Is Kevin Love not still there?
What?
Is Kevin Love not still there?
I guess he is still there, but he's like not.
Don't
super
talk
important.
bad about the GOAT.
I guess he does count as veteran leadership, but
he played
that's
with
how
LeBron.
That's how I knew the Heat would be the 1 seed in the East. Is like this is the most Sunsy team out there. They got Jimmy Butler, who's just like he can be Chris. He's not anything like Chris Paul, but you need one really old good player, and you need really one young good player, and then you'll be in the finals. That's how it works.
It's just that easy, baby.
It's just that easy. Basketball is so much easier to predict than football, dude. Basketball, like analysts.
Oh yeah, dude.
So easy, like Jesus Christ. I would pay so much money to have my football takes age like how my basketball takes aged last year. I was talking about like Heat versus Celtics Eastern Conference Finals in like January and Heat 1 seed before the season and like Warriors in the winning the finals before the playoffs. Like, damn, I would pay any amount of money to like get all that right in the
There's
the
less
NFL.
variables.
Well, it's
There's
because
so
it's 7 teams or it's 7 games in the playoffs per series, and there's 82 games, and it's so much more focused on just like how good is your best player.
Right. Like I can there's like 4 teams right now that can win the final. Like Kawhi can, Giannis can, Curry can, and like who else is there? KD
And,
can.
and like the only way you can even end up like being wrong is if there's injuries almost always. It's like of those like top 4 teams, odds are the one that's going to win. It's just the healthiest one.
yep.
Yeah. And like it's the Celtics I think can, but if Tatum we'll see if Tatum looks like way better than he did like if Tatum looks like an MVP candidate, they can, and we'll know that within like the first like 2 months of the season probably. Like it's all right. But yeah, I'll predict I'll predict the Heat to go 2-15. The
2 and
Suns.
15.
You're just having a tough go with those 2-15 predictions, man.
It really
something
it's
about
brutal.
I don't
It's okay.
all
Hope, I don't
yeah.
know. And both times it's like I don't know. I thought it was like relatively justified.
Those are I mean, I know
We
can pull
backed
the
you up,
receipts on
like-
the consensus rankings on where people had the Giants. Like they were a consensus bottom.
Oh,
5
bro,
team in
that's
the
what I'm
league.
saying. Like the receipts
Like,
on what? Are,
I
yeah,
know
they
for
were
a
really
fact,
low.
like it wasn't a hot take to say like the Giants could be the worst team in football,
Yeah.
and even
But
the Bengals.
everyone was really hot. That's why like it was a hot take when I was like, yeah, the Broncos don't move me, but because everyone
Right, or
had
the
them at
Eagles are
like
going to
number
be like
9.
the best team in the NFC. The Broncos are going to miss the
Yeah.
playoffs.
People had the Eagles at like 7. People had the Eagles at 17.
Yeah,
The
so I might
Broncos
have to
at
flex a
9.
little bit since people are being annoying about the Giants because like the Rams were the consensus second best team in the league, and I got called a crackhead when I said they'd be out of the playoffs, but no one's apologized to me. So once they lose to Steve Wilkes Panthers,
Saying the Rams were the consensus, that's wild to me. That was the one that threw me. I was like, I cannot believe people were
People
dick
love
riding the Rams that much.
yeah, people loved them. People had
Like
the
more than the
Broncos as a top 10
Chargers?
team. Not me, couldn't be me, but
Can't relate.
why do non-Panthers fans think they're going to trade anyone? I don't know. I don't have much more to say. Let's get
Yeah.
out of here.
No.
All right. Well,
No.
as always, make sure you watch Theo's All 22 on Jack Jones. Is it just on Jack Jones or?
Yeah, pushing the Jack Jones Defensive Player of the Year
Ooh.
narrative.
And then Matt, you did
Not rookie.
what was your video on, Matt?
I was just talking about the Panthers. I had to talk about the. I mean,
Fair enough. Go
Yep.
watch Matt's video. I assume it's 20 minutes straight of tears, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was mostly sobbing, but I got
Mostly
some
sobbing.
points on.
And then I did another episode of my Seahawks franchise. And you'll have to watch to see how that went.
I will.
Nah. Hey, Baker Mayfield, the GOAT. That's all I'm going to say. But as always, from Cornboy, Birdboy, and Lemon Boy, thank you all so much for tuning in. And we will catch you all on the flippity flop.